So, as I'm sure you've heard plenty of us in the Midwest complain about, the weather can be pretty unruly and not what you expect sometimes. For example, I've been through weeks where it'll be 75 degrees one day and then a couple days later it snows. But because Cincinnati gets such a wide range of weather, it also gets a big variety of clouds. Since I'd say high school, I've always drawn a lot of imagination and inspiration from clouds, and that kind of carried over into college in a lot of the drawings that I did. And clouds, in my opinion, are just the greatest. They're like constantly shifting, and it's like an entire world above us, just floating in the sky. And they're also one of my favorite things to take pictures of. This one specifically just blew my mind. Clouds are a simple and natural way to add character and personality to the space in your drawing that's above the horizon. It's a fun and free-form way to add a unique atmosphere to your drawing. And because there's like an infinite variety of clouds, shapes, and types, that means they're very versatile in kind of setting a mood or like the dynamics in your drawing. So when you're drawing the initial kind of strokes and shapes, it actually might help to be a little less intentional than how you normally are when you're sketching or drawing something. So like trees and plants and lots of other stuff that's found in nature, trees are very forgiving when you draw them. So kind of letting your mind and your hand wander as you're drawing. That's a good way that you can start to introduce that randomness that you always see in clouds. It makes the drawing a little bit more believable. And clouds are always changing shape and size, so you never have to be exact. So the clouds that I draw the most are the normal cumulus clouds or cumulonimbus ones, like the tall, dark stormy ones, or just the cumulus ones that are just kind of, on a partly cloudy day. And as far as cumulus clouds go, they're typically flat and dark on the bottom, and then light and round and more complex shapes as you go to the top. You just start at the bottom of the cloud and just do some horizontal dark lines. Again, none of this has to be exact. We're just kind of making the base of the cloud, so you can go, like I was saying earlier, if you kind of let your mind wander and see what your pen does, it just kind of will like make some jagged shapes and you go back and forth a little bit. That's basically what we're doing here, but you want to connect it at the two ends of the bottom. So, if you just kind of make some shapes and connect it at the bottom, that's not a bad looking cloud. One thing you can do is, if you want, you could kind of go over what you just did once or twice, and kind of make it a little less like a sharp shape. What you can do also is like add some compartments to this cloud. Like maybe there's part of this cloud that like kind of comes up behind it, and maybe if we draw like another bottom piece, maybe there's a part that's a little behind it and down lower. Now one thing that I do is, if I have a cloud that kind of has like a shelf to it, like where it comes out a lot to the side and does, crazy stuff like that, I'll pay attention to where there should probably be those shadows again, and just kind of shade that in, go up the side a little bit. Another thing I'll do sometimes is if you want to add some more shadow and feature to it, kind of pick a side that you think the sun would be on. So like, let's say our sun is up here. Then you'll add some more shadows on like this side of the cloud, on the opposite side the sun's on. And again, like this does not have to be exact either, because like if you kind of have shadow that comes in at different depths like this, then you're kind of creating the shape of this cloud just using the shadow. So you could do like really any size. Like you could just do a small single kind of like more oval shape, but obviously, it still has the random cloud profile. Or you could do, big complex, like if you have like the main cloud and you have like part of it's up here, part of it's up or down here, part of it's over here, and just like go crazy, like just pick out like what you want this cloud's shape to be. You typically don't want to overlap them like I just did, but it's your drawing. And then actually, the bigger you go, like the bigger you go with storm clouds, what you notice is that the bottom will really like flatten out even past where like kind of the main part of the body is, and then it'll kind of like slope down into that. And then like if you want to add feature sort of inside the cloud shape, what you can do is like where if you see like sharp angles like right here and right here, you can kind of carry those lines in a little bit to kind of separate those out. And then if we kind of start shading these back in a little bit, I'll pick the right side this time and go up. Again, it's just scribbles, it's inexact, but yeah, it's a style. One last thing you can do to kind of add some depth to the cloud, like to show that it goes farther back, is at the bottom, if you round it out a little more on the bottom, because like when we look up at clouds, we can see like the front of the bottom and the back of the bottom, if you know what I mean. So if you like give that some thickness and kind of show that it goes back past like just this front face that we're looking at, then you can kind of start to show that it goes back farther. And you can add like, you know, some features to the bottom itself too, like just some little offshoots and stuff like that. So what I want to do now is just combine this with the other two things that we've drawn, which is stick people and trees. Just kind of make a little scene, just to kind of accumulate everything we've done so far. So I'll make a ground line. And I'll make just a small grove of these trees. We'll just start with the trunks, just single lines, nothing crazy. And then we'll maybe pair those up, make trees of various thicknesses. And we'll do, it's very similar to what we just did with the clouds, where we just kind of make some shapes, irregular, asymmetrical, you know, not entirely just, you know, free form, but not intentional either, not entirely intentional. Oh, one tip is don't do them all in order like this, because then it doesn't look that natural. It kind of looks like they're all just planted in a row. And let's pick a sun. Let's put it right down the middle this time. So you won't see a lot of shadows like on the sides, but the bottoms will get these nice shadows. Just scribbling. That's all I'm doing, just scribbling. Then kind of come down the trunk a little bit with some shade. Get out some depth and some darkness. Okay, now let's add some people. So one of the people we did was like, it's just a head shape, then that carrot shape that we talked about. We'll do let's see, these two are friends. They're the same size. And we can do like small family, so we got, oh, also you want to keep the eye line the same, which I did not just do. Like if I was going to draw like some smaller people along with some bigger people. But if you're going to do that, make sure the heads are all like kind of at an equal level. So like, yeah, that's a little better. Kind of, it's more accurate that way just as far as like perspective. So, and then now let's add a couple clouds. So I'm going to do the main line here and secondary line here and here. And let's do another one here. We'll just kind of add some lines there. See where that takes us. This one will probably be in front, I would think, because it's cutting into here, but we're seeing the bottom of it, so you know, it would most likely be in front. Just add some shapes there, and then add some shapes here. And it comes out over here. And this guy comes up here. And let's do just some wild, crazy shapes. Obviously, these are two-dimensional drawings, but a lot of this hinges on you kind of giving some illusion that it's not a two-dimensional object. So sun's over here, so my shadow will be here. Go up this side. Here's like one of those shelves that we talked about. Then we'll kind of go up that side. And let's cut that in here. This will be shadow. And over here, shadow will be on the other side because it's on the other side of the sun. And because this like secondary cloud is like almost entirely behind it, we could like shade that in like even a little more. And then but make sure like the bottom's the darkest. Wow, very angsty. I like it. Shade, 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 shade. So I'm gonna go back over it. Pull this out a little bit. There's a scene. You know, when you kind of start to put some elements together and it's similar style-wise, I think it works. Thanks so much for watching. Here are the other 2 drawing videos that I've done. And I don't have a ton of subscribers or views or anything like that yet. So I'll keep kind of doing a series of these drawing videos just based on the ideas or topics that I think of. But if you think of anything that you want me to do a video on, absolutely let me know and I will give it my best shot. This is a hand sign that I made up to represent Cincinnati. So like it makes a C, and then it's also like part of a crown. Like if you do the thumb, but it's part of a crown for like the Queen City. It'll catch on. Dang, this video is long. Dude, I seriously need to just like start talking faster.